I personally would still value Naga a little bit higher.
I think it's a Chinese region thing. I think during Tour 3 it was something they were playing, because Lacoste mentioned it too going into some of the games we covered, just that they have liked it a lot.
They've played Naga a couple of times in the regions. I covered those games.
Yeah.
It never looked that great.
Never.
That's the problem.
Yeah, well, there we go. The Timber last pick is going to be that off lane. We see DP ended up going mid. So, Amar, how are you liking that all, especially this Timber last pick? We know you're a bit of a fiend for it.
I mean, he kind of doesn't die at the start, but it's not really the best Timber Soul game. Like, he's not. If he doesn't land into Beastmaster, he's not that good into him. And if he doesn't crush the Sven on lane, he's not really good against him in game. Like, Sven just goes to jungle and bursts him in game. Like, it's actually easy.
What about you, Lizard? Where are you aligning?
I'm gonna go against the Naga once again. Like, I've seen it play out in the last game. I think Psg Lgd are picking it with a little bit of spite here as well.
Hey, it could be what they need, but she very, very quickly.
For me, massive fan of the Shadow Demon. I think he's going to have so much impact this game. I don't believe in this Naga. I think Dazzle carried a lot of their fights last time.
Wow, you are a big Team Spirit fan there. Let's see where our casters align. It's Lyrical, Trent, and Gunnar.
Thank you so much again, Nat, and we are here after an absolutely crazy game number 2, and now into game number 3. Naga again, a little bit of not what I was expecting, and I also don't have the Dazzle to back it up. Thoughts?
Yeah, we're gonna have to calm down. You know, Naga has level 1, no items.
Okay.
We have to start building up her items again. So the Timbersaw, I think, is a really nice pick though. He has good core matchups. The Tiny though, I think is really good. It gives him a lot of magic burst for the Timber. So the early game, I think, is the really big question. If the Timbersaw gets off to a good start, that's where he starts snowballing, maybe even by a BKB versus Heroes or Lincolns or Lotus.
Yeah, it certainly looks like a necessity between the Tiny as well as the Zeus being there, plus a Sven to boot in the end. There is definitely no shortage of damage right now coming up from the side of Team Spirit. And the instant smoke as we get into the next one.
Both teams.
Oh, good luck, have fun's coming out there as well from both teams after a match like that.
You gotta enjoy the typing good luck, have fun while you're smoked up, looking for a first blood, or the, you know, the classic, you type good luck after you get first blood.
I see, that's what we'll watch for, yeah, if anybody happens to score that. But at least for now, ooh, they might reach some people up on that top rune spot. Nothing to say they run to Maposhka and collapse, but there's no chance. So they won't connect in for any kills. But yeah, a very different hero. We talked a little bit about the Naga Siren, but that Sven, I was kind of wondering if they were going to put it over to position 4 or something to do the Tiny, but opting to just run it for Yadaro. Shades of old types of games with this, you know, ancient peering hero.
I mean, the last time he was here, you know, he was flying around, buying Aghanims. He was a cool hero. Maybe get a helm or something and stack it up, but long gone are the days, you know? Now, perhaps into that Mask of Madness build where you go right to the Ancients. Likely be the way to go. Get yourself an Echo Saver and just do Sven things. I don't think it's anything too tricky this game.
They probably are hoping that it can carry the Shadow Demon out of the lane. He can just shove the lane in with Cleave. He has a stun. Generally, you want these stronger carries with stuns when you have a weaker support like Shadow Demon in the lane. And then he'll also have the ability to jungle, giving Shadow Demon early levels, giving these level 6 timings. Probably more so of a hero that's trying to complement their own draft rather than be a big nuisance for LGD.
Well, fair enough, as the 2 bounty runes will be traded off a piece and everybody heading out. Remember, in the last game, there were a lot of lane shenanigans as people were trying to dodge, but this time, completely straight up collapse, going up top to face off against the Naga, and as we would anticipate, Sven down bottom facing off against the Timber. Anything that particularly looks scary?
Well, the only shenanigans really happening will be that initial lane block on the bottom lane from Xingqiu, right? Get the Fisher out, and currently does have his camp blocked as well, so we'll see if he's able to handle that. Has a sentry too, so he's gonna plop that right down. Just no camps happening at the moment.
This Naga Siren versus Beastmaster used to be a very big counter because of the boars. You can just kill the boars. She has no way to kill illusions. But the kind of development of Beast recently is putting multiple points in axes really early, which actually kind of counters these Nagas and the Terrorblades of the world. And even laning with a Zeus, they're going to have the ability to clear the Naga illusions really easily. And so I wouldn't be surprised if LGD start losing this lane when the Beastmaster hits level 3, level 5. Gets big, more points in the axes.
Yeah, even just now, they're able to nuke down the range creep too. Not a whole lot they can do. Keep the spam going, and once the helm creep comes out, and even just getting to the helm of the Iron Will itself.
Even a Basilius right now for the Beast, but look at the Naga.
Yeah, that is not a great win right there.
Dire's courier
The old Naga
has been
Siren,
killed.
as they will take down that courier. Mira moves on in, brings it down, and the other lane to watch for, Faith Beyond. Already getting some good damage there onto the Sven for Yadaro, as Makoshka will start to stack up the poison, but can't go for any more onto Faith Beyond.
It's maybe not the most devastating Timber pick that you're going to see, but still getting at the end of the draft here, Faith Beyond season says, yeah, I can make this hero work this game. Maybe you're not going to absolutely crush it, but still going to be a very good body for the team here. Give a lot of space towards the Death Prophet out of that mid lane, as you really don't want to be dropping her too early in these engagements. Try and get her snowballing in this one.
On the other side, the Shadow Demon's a really nice matchup versus a lot of the LGD heroes. Very good versus Death Prophet. It's a classic. When Death Prophet used to go Yules, a little worse now, but even the Cleanse is going to start mattering a lot. It'll instantly remove the Nightmare. It'll remove the Ensnare from the Naga. So it kind of gives him a lot of defensive abilities, but unfortunately it's on position 5 this game, so his items might come a little slower.
We're seeing just the constant pressure that's coming out from the Mira Zeus. And when you pair together that Beastmaster aura with Zeus, who already has pretty good base damage, they're really sort of putting forward a big threat to Y in this lane.
You can see they're all building towards magic damage. The Basilius on the Beast, which is a little interesting compared to when they go Dominator. They always just rush the Helm for the sustain in the lane, but he's playing more of a nuker. And it's also helping out the Zeus, and he doesn't even have boards at level 2, so he's going to probably go fully, maybe 3 points in the axes, and then he'll go back for the boars.
Yeah, and it just feels like LGD just have no way of really zoning or handling them at all right now. If anything, it's Y who just has to keep like popping stick charges to try and stay within some range to bully and harass a little bit.
Definitely taking a beating. 11-1 on the Naga Siren as far as CS is concerned so far. Likewise, Sven being a little bit held down, but not too badly.
Jeez, these constant level 2 arc lightnings as well, just like clearing through the illusions instantaneously.
Yeah, and that's like a little bit of farm here and there too. Not bad.
It's a lot of mana though, to be fair.
It's true.
There's no stick. He's got 3 mangoes though on Mira, so open up a bit of a fruit stand up top.
What I think for LGD though is probably going to be the level 6 on Nothing to Say. They want to use this Exorcism probably on the mid tower to force the supports out of their lanes that give the Naga a 1v1 versus Beast. Even Timbersaw getting a 1v1 is very helpful. And their supports are pretty good at it. If ZenQ gets a nice block on the high ground, that'll probably be their first big rotation.
The one lane that we haven't talked about at all is the lane that you play, Gunnar, mid lane. So far, Death Prophet sitting top of the board, 26-3 versus the 19-3. What do you expect out of this? Like, Death Prophet always feels a bit strange to me out of mid.
Dire's middle tower is
It's
under attack.
going to be a pretty even lane, as it's already showing. The one thing Death Prophet has is, I think he stacked his small camp and farmed it once, which is probably where some of his CS and the 300 gold advantage. And the other thing is that Death Prophet generally survives this burst from Tiny. So Tiny is kind of having to exist here, tank all this damage from the Spirit Siphon, and he has to let the Nothing to Say do whatever he wants in the lane. There's no pressure on him.
It is kind of painful though, like what he just did. Like Nothing to Say nukes the wave, and Toronto doesn't care about the Siphon. He just walks up and denies both range creeps in his face.
Work is pretty cool there.
His goal is to try to delay the level 6 until after the Siege Wave, but unfortunately for him, I think Nothing to Say gets it off this wave.
Well, at the same time, Mira's going to come back, and thankfully is a Zeus, so tries to stack the Ancients. Probably going to notice that there's been a block here. Speaking of a block, one down the bottom lane, but yeah, no stack here for Mira, so unfortunately doesn't go back to check. Probably would have heard the noise from stacking the other camp and won't be aware that the Ancients are currently blocked. And obviously a great way to try and slow down the speed at which Sven's trying to play the game.
You know, I think the teams had a similar idea of calm down a little bit after that last game. 0 kills so far at 5 minutes into this one. And they're not wanting to give up any early advantage after that roller coaster that we had.
Someone probably tell them there's not like 4 Aeon Discs and a Book of Shadows.
That's true.
And, you know, there's
The
no
heroes will die. There's a lot less save this game. It's really only Disruption that is big save. So heroes are going to be way easier to kill from both sides, but right now the lanes are kind of calm because everyone's waiting for their level 6s. Everyone has really strong ults with Timbersaw, Beastmaster, even Death Prophet. As you can see, he pops in mid on the Siege Wave.
Yeah, no block there. But same rotation in from Y, just to join for this push. Gonna find Mira on the side, just zoning back.
ZenQ over ready with a fissure, but this early points in arc lighting, like you talked about, pretty good to try and keep this alive, and tosses back Y. could be our first blood. Mira draws it on the Zeus, and that's almost arcane boots here at 6 minutes.
Oh, well, it won't be Faith Beyond this time. Someone else will get to claim it. Team Spirit, their first blood of the series.
Wow, wow. Okay, so that Exorcism not working out too well for LGD, even with the catapult wave, as the good rotations came from Spirit.
Yeah, it did get the 1v1s though, right, in those side lanes, so Naga Siren starting to catch up a little bit there. Faith Beyond, pretty much guaranteed not to die.
Also, if you remember the last game, I know it was a long time ago, but the Naga's game was really bad. He was, I think, level 4 or 5 at the 10-minute mark.
Radiant's
He
middle
was
tower
unable
is
to
under
take a
attack.
lane, take any... What? Beastmaster.
Now, this is a nice kill if they can get it.
Nice vision.
Collapse under control. Have a jump, can't do it. Mira didn't have the mana. Tokyo trying to find onto Xingqiu Shaker. Mira right there. Hit with the enchant totem. But
Dire's bottom
Xingqiu will
tower
not be
is under
punished.
attack.
So they make another good move. And that Earthshaker showing why it's so valuable.
Gonna feel a little bad. The Timbersaw now is his free lane. He's level 6. Sven has to, you know, probably lead the lane, go jungle. Shadow Demon takes mid, but this is where the Tiny starts falling behind. The Death Prophet's almost half a level above him, and you know this Blink Dagger is a really big timing. But every second he's not hitting a creep is a second he's not getting Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he's gonna be giving up a lot of that space. Trying to find something here. Wise there with the Nightmare though.
Nicely played. Mira was hoping to get in range so he could go for the heavenly jump, but not gonna happen.
And look at bot. Faith Beyond's just taking this tower by himself, and Yatoro can't even approach the lane to push it out.
Mahomes is actually gonna TP down here now as well.
Level 5 versus level 6. Pochka running aggressively into Faith Beyond. Disruption. Nice. Is this going in for the all-in? Faith Beyond tries to TP out if it's stacked.
One more.
Back up, not gonna get it there.
Yeah, he knew. He knew he needed 5 charges, but he wasn't able to get it, so tried that early pop before the regen would be in.
Nice play, kicks him out, but he has no mana. He's gonna reset his resources, go back bot. And this bot tower opening up is probably gonna also allow Ame to kind of take his position on the map and get. That's just where he accelerates.
He wants it. He's just toteming. He's going in.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Does he get it? He could go in for another round.
One more?
He did the math.
He put it in denial.
He's like, I don't have the damage.
Perfect. Go in. Is this enough? Yeah, good job. Xingqiu gets the tower gold.
Exorcism's off cooldown. We might see this Timbersaw now rotate to the mid lane, try to get more pressure. The LGD is always kind of be constantly ready to run at the side of Team Spirit. I think Sven is going to have a really hard time fighting into LGD this game until he gets, I think, a BKB probably?
Yeah.
He doesn't even have one queued up.
And that's going to be a while until he's ready to join these fights.
If you look at his quick buy, he has a Master Madness, an Echo Saber, a Blink Dagger queued. He wants to just farm.
Ooh, tried to toss back, but didn't quite keep that vision on Tokyo. So another one of these rotations for Tiny, where he's not connecting and falling further behind the Death Prophet.
Yeah, he's the least last hits of all the cores right now. He just sits up here trying to enable his Beastmaster. Thinks about the roar, but the TP comes through from Faith Beyond. He's going to plant himself up here now and give the rest of the map over to Ame.
And killing a creep for all he's worth. Helm of the Dominator tries to run away. Ooh, does a little jukey juke. Runs back the other direction, still baiting out some mana.
Collapse isn't even moving his
Can they kill it off? Does he manage to take over another creep in the meantime? Does he go for it? No, Collapse is just standing still, microing it.
Meanwhile, in all that chaos, there is a smoke here from LGD.
Interesting.
Wise gonna walk up the hill, gonna find the Tiny.
Not level 6 yet, have a toss. Couple punches, stun is there. Tokyo picks up a kill.
Farm through those camps as well. Just got done with the Ancients. Now 10 minutes can go back with that same God Strength. So perfect timing here for Yatoro.
You can see that Ame pretty much just switches places with Faith Beyond, and now Faith Beyond's the one making pressure top.
Can they kill him off? Off the Shadow Demon ulti. Trying to burn through him.
Still has Soul Catcher.
Interrupting. The Soul Catcher's ready.
Oh, the dropping items.
Stacking. Okay.
He needed that perfect bit of mana.
Well done.
Gotta maximize the potentials there from Aposhka.
I thought he was just dropping irons for fun.
Well, we can just go with that.
Exorcism popped in the mid lane, but Mira's going to try and hold him off.
Siege number 2, but this is really hard. The Zeus is really good hero at pushing waves off the tower. He just can pull them, he can jump away. So nothing to say, has to kind of play under the trees and hope for the best at this point, especially with no Faith Beyond, and they're losing the top tower for this. So not really feeling that good for LGD.
This is like the Leshrac things that you use on your W, not your ultimate for the say.
Oh my. Gonna find himself Yatoro. Can't get the Nightmare in time though, and has to be aware that the Tiny's still nearby.
heroes mid from LGD.
I mean,
committing for this.
I don't want to fight this Timbersaw right now.
Is under attack.
Well, they're still in the area. Silence is out. Stops any action from the Tiny, but they keep that tier 1 tower alive while Collapse took the top.
Now Collapse gets all this jungle, and LGD's probably next move is going to use this Timbersaw to kick him out of the big jungle. If Beastmaster gets to live here for 2-3 more minutes, this is when his items start getting pretty crazy. He gets the Helm of the Overlord too early, and anytime you kill his creep even, it's another minute that he kind of slows down.
An earlier kill there, working out somewhat, but managing to get the Hellbear right after. And there is just the Timbersaw up top. They have the Thunder God's Wrath. Miposhka is ready with all of his abilities again. Are they thinking about going on Timber?
He might be too tanky with those two heroes. They had the Tiny there last time, I think.
All right.
Yep.
The biggest difference in this game, I think, is that Naga's having a good game. He's not top of the net worth just because of how much the Spirit has had the map, but he's going to accelerate much faster than he did last game.
Toronto Tokyo hunting and pushing the Timbersaw away from his own jungle, in fact. So Team Spirit keep the pressure in.
Suno Blink on the Tiny. He's not even that close. Even Earthshaker's about the same gold as him in terms of Blink.
Yeah, it really shows like how long he was like lurking in the tree lines, waiting for something to happen out of that mid lane once he was sort of kicked out of there.
But even on the...
Oh, nice sentry here. Oh, Miposhka, turn around. There you go. Oh man, sentry caught there.
It doesn't feel too bad because if you look at his cores, they're having such good games, and it's all off his rotations around the map.
Yeah, particularly Yadoro. But yeah, you know, as I said, that of course it is starting to add up for Ame. Every single level, just more and more damage, more illusions out there right now, and farming very close towards that Manta. Collapse continues to pressure that top lane, and they lie in wait here to see if there's going to be an overextension by Team Spirit. But Miposhka's just going to casually sit under this ward and throw some Shadow Poisons with his Arcane Boots.
This is, if they can clear through this and sort of get away with it, this feels pretty good for Team Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, they're just shutting down that part of the farm. You know, Yadoro's on the bottom, pushing out the wave, trying to farm a little bit of his own jungle as the Naga illusions come through. Toronto Tokyo just waits for a moment where he can actually kill somebody.
The scariest thing right now for LGD is that this Naga Manta is mostly just a farming tool. You get it for more illusions to cut more waves and get more map, but it's nothing really to actually hit the heroes. And I think Yotaro made the read on the Naga, which is why he's going so greedy with the Echo, the Mask of Madness, and the Blink before his BKB. So he's going to hit his timing at the same time as Naga, but he's going to be a lot stronger at that timing just on the amount of items he has.
Zeus too, with that early first blood and then getting so much farm pulling that mid wave in, he's almost at the shard. This is shard gold before 15 minutes.
Yeah, with Arcane Boots and plenty of consumables in there as well, so certainly a great feeling. And now something to enable Toronto Tokyo before that Blink Dagger will be an Invis rune here, so could possibly go for a smoke play off of that, but currently they're just happy holding the line that they've got right now, right? Still Miposhka sitting in the same spot, farming up these neutral camps, denying from the side of LGD. Collapse holds the wave there, has his creeps as well.
Yeah, unfortunately for LGD, they don't really have a hero that can start a play themselves. Fissure only works so well that you have to have a hero that can also follow up. But Death Prophet kind of just exists for damage. Timbersaw only exists for damage. You know, it's all on this Bane at this point. The Naga won't really show up to fights.
And it comes back to show how important it was that they saved that tower mid for Team Spirit. Like, if they weren't able to get that little pull off to the side from Mira, fight back with these exorcisms from the Death Prophet, they wouldn't have as much control over the map right now. It could be a little bit more vulnerable. With the weaker initiations from LGD, missing that tower could have been something that gave them an opportunity for a wraparound.
It's worth noting, have a smoke up with this Blink Dagger reveal now, and Timbersaw going in very far. Are they going to turn onto him, actually? Toss back, they get the disruption, no hood for you. That is not going to be any active ability. Thunder God's Wrath and Faith Beyond goes down. Just like that, Team Spirit, after 15 minutes, they've only lost one tower against the Death Prophet. And it's come at the cost of Naga being the top net worth hero, but we'll see if that ends up mattering, because right now they're walking into the pit. Are they just going to try and take Roche?
I gotta respect for Zin Q's farming right now. Just like right next to the tier 2 down bottom, he wants his Blink Dagger, knows his team desperately needs it, but they've got the read. The no initiation, difficulties to fight here from LGD sends Team Spirit into the pit for an early first Aegis. That's going to put the timing of the second Roche at around 25 minutes.
This is wild too, because normally you'd be able to come and contest this with Naga Siren, but not really feeling confident coming on over and using the song. to interrupt. So Aegis going to be claimed. They even glyphed the mid-tier 1 tower. So LGD, can they finish this one off? Do they feel comfortable sticking around? Looks like they are. Collapse moves on in with the big creep. They lose the tower.
You can see the big difference right now, and Spirit has so many heroes that can, if you walk into them, they'll catch you, and they can even catch you on their own. They have the Tiny with the Blink now, they have all the vision for Beastmaster and Roar, they have Shadow Demon, and it's kind of lackluster for LGD. Their goal with their draft was to take these towers with the Death Prophet really early, and kind of just play the map with Naga, but because of the way Spirit defended this mid-tier 1, they're kind of stuck on their side of the map until probably the Shaker Blink.
Yeah, and now it feels like they're kind of waiting for Ame, where it's, you know, supposed to be like kind of making time for the Naga Siren in a sense and like still progressing onto Team Spirit's side of the map, but now they actually need Ame to join in. They're going to be waiting for this Scotty to see if they can actually take some fights at that point.
Yeah, and Collapse is just at a free lane, or a free game rather.
Yeah,
he's in the jungle by himself. He got to the max axis, so the Naga counterpick didn't really matter. He's just been top. I think Maposhka's has kind of been bodyguarding him here, breaking all the smokes. Even he's not dying because of all the vision from the Hogs.
Yeah, it's funny. We've seen it so much from like an Enchantress or something who has this very stable body, but the fact that he can just stand there, spam poison, is always under a ward, is able to farm camps while just providing mana as well over to his Beastmaster. Like, this is a perfect combo, and if you try to initiate, try and get close to Maposhka, maybe you get disrupted, or maybe you get turned around with the Demonic Purge.
So we're going to see probably a big move from Spirit to this top tier 2. Usually the first stages you don't really worry too much about the tier 2 towers, but because they have a Beastmaster with this Helm of the Overlord so early, they probably can just take a really early tower.
Well, it is already a ton of pressure on, and I mean, as we've seen from LGD, it was a scary game number 2. They're not really willing to risk another fall behind here in game number 3. Feels like the damage dealt at this point in time is not really been into their favor. As the smoke up comes, there is a ward over on that high ground, which they're going to head on in and keep hard, but they spot the big target. And again, this big old Timbersaw at this point in time, can he get out? Oh, the grip from the low ground. Why? Interrupting, but they have the disable. Faithion still buying time. Tiny, he's in very far. They have a roar available. Why? Gets hit. They interrupted it. He lost the blink. Oh, the Thunder God's wrath came at the perfect moment, but will it make up for the rest of this fight? Zinky still gets on top of Toronto Tokyo, and nothing to say, but this exorcism is doing work. Yadro turns on in, but there's the song. To try and interrupt this, the buyback comes out. Timbersaw ready to go for round 2. They're all grouped up together. Buddy gets the blink away. Mira just scoots on out of there.
They both blinked?
They did not. That was everything. That was a buyback.
Oh, you'll have to sacrifice Mira, but you will take that. And he tried to do a really cool play, right? Faithion trying to timber chain through in that like perfect moment and see if he can find that damage. But
I think even nothing to say, trying to get his Cryptstone off from both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Big blink and a buyback.
That was like the perfect scenario. I can't even imagine a better situation for a Naga Siren in this game where like you're trying to find a fight, but the initiations are tough and they're all down. You get the song on 3 of them like that.
And the blink cancel too. Xingqiu was so close to hitting that moment, and we've seen him do it time and again.
I love that too, coming down to Vision, being up on that high ground, right? You can see Xingqiu sends the courier up there now. He's going to get that D-ward, but certainly a frustrating thing to try and fight into.
And even now, Yatoro almost at his BKB, which we were worried about how...
I didn't even know when this was coming, you know?
Well, like, they catch him, and Timbersaw, you think he's tanky, but when there's so much, like, the damage numbers are so high, he dies so quickly.
Oh, and this too as well, you know, looking for, look how grouped they are too, like all the units and everything. Xingqiu's just looking for the big echo to try and catch Mira and collapse, and then the Thunder God's Wrath ruining it for them too.
Yeah, and they swirl up and take down that Shadow Demon very quickly when Ame is right on top of them.
I'm really surprised they get the blink out at the end. I definitely thought at least like one of them would be tagged up instantaneously. It's like playing against a couple of pucks, you know?
Bang, bang, they're away.
A little unfortunate, but LGD is still really strong as long as they're able to abuse the Naga.
And as long as they don't get caught right at the get-go.
Looks familiar.
Why? Found. It's not the real Naga Siren there. Yadro gives up the chase instead.
Oh, he actually did find the real one right now. There's a toss in 2 seconds.
Do they have the damage though? They have the ulti on him. Trying to burn through it. The roof. He has another avalanche. Connects onto all of them in the stun. Toronto Tokyo cleans up the kill. They're going to take this tier 2 tower.
Back to the tower, confidence with the vision in the tree line, not worried about some sort of a TP there.
You know, LGD just does not look like they have the answers, and Team Spirit, they woke up after that game too. Not so sure about LGD as they are struggling to find any answers, now falling 5k gold behind.
The hardest part is being able to walk into a Spirit's draft. I think Beastmaster is one of these heroes you can't give a good start to, and you especially can't walk into them without your whole team there. And they just have the Bane there alone. They have the Naga there kind of close by, but it's not enough to kick this hero out of your jungle.
Yeah, it's a real problem when you recognize that he's getting a free lane and you still can't do anything about it. You know, they just look at this, and he had the body of Maposhka there. They couldn't really smoke into it, couldn't enable the Timbersaw in a way he could get there, and their only solution was to try and get Xingqiu an earlier Blink Dagger, and now he's struggled to get anything off in these fights.
It starts feeling really bad when you know you can't even make a smoke there with 5 heroes. You just have to dodge these matches the whole game. But when they keep dodging, the Sven getting tri-camp for 3, 4, 5 minutes because of this is one of the best heroes to take it.
Yeah, they got the block at the start, but then constant stacks in there from Mira as well. I even saw some boars going back and getting some stacks set up there too. So they're making sure Yadro has a great game on the Sven. It is a bit of a more unusual of a hero.
I gotta imagine that in these games that are so pivotal, you want to have heroes that can do stuff, that can make moves on the map. Mira, the move will be found, but the Heavenly Jump tries to get him away. Fissure, it's out. Ava, toss. Do they have the damage? No, he throws him away.
It took him a second there, you know. That cast time increase could be something.
No, but they just back out, and this is the type of play that I feel like LGD needed right now to get on the map and make some action happen. Unfortunately, it's with the EXO and no objectives.
Yeah, that's a little asterisk at the end, you know?
It's true.
The big question is whether the Naga is going to carry late game. He's going so many defensive items. He's going Scotty into a heart, and then eventually a nullifier, but I think even if the Sven notices this nullifier is being bought, if he buys a shard, it makes his Warcry unpurgeable.
That's right, yeah.
And this damage, the damage is going to start being low from LGD. This Timbersaw, I think, was actually probably the biggest hero they needed for damage.
Is under attack.
And his game has not been particularly great.
You can see right there just the pure difference in what these heroes do early and what might happen as the game goes later. They blink in, smoke does not break. Now Ame is down and to the right of this, in between those towers. Doesn't look like they're going to find it, but instead could hunt behind the tier 2 where Maposhka is set up. Ward down, that's scouted, they see it, yeah.
Instantly spotted there. But try and protect that ward for a second here.
And in the meantime, it's going to be creeps hitting tier 2 and no answer. LGD, they've got to do what Team Spirit did in the last one and stall this game out.
It's a little scary for them. I think the Shivas is really big on the Timber because there's so much like health and movement speed on the side of Spirit that they really need these long fights, and they really need the Naga to also be able to enter these fights, but his health is just not enough to take on the Sven and the Tiny right now.
And one stun feels like he can just go down, especially when you're dealing with the Soul Catcher as well. Get caught with that right at the beginning, it's something you're losing 35% of your HP.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the damage numbers, but Mirror's having such a great game. I think he's the highest damage in the game. And it shows how much the shard does when you get it just at 15 minutes.
Yeah, percentage-based, very scary for a Timbersaw, and now sitting in the Radiant Triangle. Mira has his eyes set on something a little bit big there with an Aghanim Scepter. I don't know if we'll get that far anytime soon, but obviously a real securing item.
Trying to bait that Arcane Rune, but there's no follow-up to the bait.
We can see Maposhka has Aether Lens and a Shard queued up, and he's going to have it really soon. And as we said earlier, this is a really nice game for the Shard. Anyone he uses it on can't get controlled by Bane or Naga, and he can even disrupt the grip. So a lot of plays that are going to be kind of canceled out by it.
Yes, we did some testing, don't worry. You can knock a Nightmare if you've been cleansed. You can also cleanse off a Nightmare. We got in there, you know, made sure.
Big plays.
For the people.
Just for you.
Yep.
Saw there a couple of sorries come out from Faith Leon too. Sorry about giving up that Arcane away. It's interesting. It's seen sort of the way that they're trying to dodge away from these fights. And Team Spirit, I mean, still a little bit of time left until Roche is going to respawn. They have kind of taken over this area. There's that one ward right above the Roche pit that LGD have. But I think that we have the Beastmaster shard done too.
They're kind of looking like all eggs in one basket again for LGD, where Ame's kind of the one big ticket to victory, and it's not a great Naga game. There's a Shadow Demon. We've seen it's a great success earlier. Thankfully, Ame does not go for the Ags, so it won't get countered that hard. But even taking the illusions, Zeus clears illusions really nicely. Sven's picked just to deal with the Naga in this type of game.
Yeah, it feels like there's going to be fights now where Team Spirit are going to have more Naga illusions than LGD.
That's Radiance. Okay, Ame,
what year is this?
From the past. Let's go, let's go.
You know, you got to get creative. It's versus a Beastmaster and a Sven. That's a pretty great choice in terms of the evasion.
Very interesting.
He's probably worried about if you buy health for Zeus, it never feels good. You buy this heart and his damage. He's supposed to just do more damage the more health you have. So he's probably trying to get a mixture of just dealing enough damage to kill them and also not having to enter the fight with his hero.
Yeah, the evasion's great survivability, so good choice here.
Although already Sven has the MKB queued up and is building towards it. And into the pit they're going to go potentially as 20 seconds until Roche is going to respawn. But these waves, they're going to get shoved out, that is for sure. It's Radiance Illusions. Also going to be pretty helpful for the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, the Shadow Demon can just take the illusions. They're going to be even stronger. They have so many auras on the side of Spirit. Their team fight is really scary. They have all the Beastmaster. Beastmaster's whole goal is just to keep auras. So when you get a Naga with a Radiance, you just add one to that.
Gonna kill off the dragon. Does not quite look like it. Thunder God's Wrath used, backs away. Big old avalanche, the toss to follow. The BKB already used in CQ. I think that was another Echo Slam whip.
Oh, I love the D ward.
Can they do any more? BKB from Yadro turns on to nothing to say, trying to bring him down. Meanwhile, Ame finding that Tiny, the control coming from ZQ, but he just destroyed nothing to say. Yadro all over Pgl, looking for anything, something. LGD, where's the spike supposed to go? Tokyo barely rents from it. They jump on in, the brain sap is not enough. They walk back in, kill the band, they're all done. GG. LGD is broken.
Oh wow, that game got away from them very, very quickly. Only hope for them really near the end was going to be Ame, and they just decided that Ame wasn't going to be enough to carry this one.
We took a reset from the last game.